discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Fat Ass Nerd Run-Throughs, the continuation of our top 100. We are going from 80 to 71. I hope you're still enjoying. I hope you're liking all the games that I'm mentioning, because these games suck. Unless they're the same ones on my list and they're good. That's the only thing. Still continuing with me not knowing what my games are.
Have we had any crossover yet?
We have not, actually.
Right. We may.
In fact, I looked at, after this was remind me, hopefully, I'm actually going to count how many games I've played that are on your list, because so far it's not a lot.
Yeah.
I've heard of most of them, but...
It's because you don't like playing good games. See, that's why they're not on your list, because you're...
Because I haven't played them?
You're allergic to good games.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. At least I own all my games.
That's true.
On my list. I used to own it. I'm sure you have fond memories. So my number 80 is... okay, this isn't going to be on your list. It might be. No, it's not, because you don't like Pandemic. Is Defenders of the Realm. Fantasy Pandemic, really, what it boils down to. What? It's literally Pandemic, but fantasy. Shut up. It is.
It has a mechanic.
It's literally that. Like, it's that. But anyway. Except you just have a boss to fight at the end instead of curing diseases. Anyway, so Defenders of the Realm is actually an older game. I don't know when it came out. A while ago.
I'll look it up.
It spawns up a bunch of expansions, but essentially you have the different areas on the board that you need to go to try and gather up forces and fight off the enemy, because there's like 4 different, when did it come out?
2010?
You're kidding.
Yep.
It looks so much older. Like it looks like it came out in the 90s. Anyway, yeah, and there's like a bunch of different bosses that you fight, I think at the same time, if I'm not mistaken. They're all just there trying to just swarm the kingdom. And some are easier to kill than others, and then the game comes with a bunch of expansions. Have you played the Dragon expansion?
Yes.
That's
That's nearly impossible.
It's just brutal. And there's quests you can go on. You can get rewards. You can just it's card driven. It's a really, really good game that is a solid co-op game as well. Every time you mention Pandemic now, it's just
it's different, and I'll explain.
I'll explain whenever I get to Defenders of the Realm. But it has been a while since I have played it. And I remember the few times that I have, we lost because it's super hard. No, but it does work differently than Pandemic does. It's not like that card based.
The only I'll just go ahead and explain. The only thing that is similar in the two is the burst mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. The Defenders of the Realm has dice fighting. It has.
Oh yeah, it does.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the only thing that carries over from Pandemic to that is the burst and corruption mechanic and stuff. That's
I think
the one
right.
thing.
Yeah, that's true. And I know, I feel like it reminded me a lot of Pandemic whenever we were playing
because
it.
of the burst. It was because, you know, in Pandemic when the
cubes,
get more cubes, they burst out.
Yeah.
That's the exact same thing. Those
Gotcha.
spreads to every city.
That's right. It was the corruption.
It.
That's right. That's right. And then so you have all the miniatures that are coming in and trying to swarm towards it. I mean, it's fantasy, so it's just generic in the type of races or the player that you are. But yeah, so that's my number 80.
My number 80 is my first pseudo party game.
Okay.
On here, it's called Shadow Hunters.
No idea what that is.
You ever play it?
No.
It's anime.
Okay.
Kind of. We didn't play it because it still plays well with like 4.
Mm-hmm.
But you can play it, I think, to 6 or 7 maybe. It's a hidden role game.
Okay.
There are shadow characters, which are the bad guys. There are hunters, which are the good guys.
Okay.
And then there's neutral characters that just have their own weird, and everybody has their own weird winning condition.
Okay.
And nobody knows who the other hunters are or whatever. So it breaks down. If there's 6 people, there's going to be like 2 hunters, 2 demon or 2 shadows, and then 2
2 neutrals.
And you go through, and there's this board with a track, and there's locations. There's like a cemetery, a church. There's the hermit's hut type thing, and you move to one of those places.
Okay.
If you go to the hermit person, it's like the green cards, and that gives you it says something, you check the person to your left's card.
Okay.
Or something. I mean, it does different stuff.
Right.
Or no, it says if this person asks the person to your left if there's different stuff, like if you have less than 10 hit points.
Okay.
Show me your card or something. There's all different kinds of stuff.
Okay.
That's kind of the way that you kind of decipher, start
Figure it
learning
out.
who people are.
All right.
If you go to the cemetery, you get these black cards that are weapons or artifacts of some kind. There's the church, the white versions of the cards. And you just go through and you are attacking people too, as well. If you end up on the same spot as somebody, you can choose, I'm going to attack this person.
Okay.
And what's cool is on the hit point track, everybody starts out with their starting hit points. You kind of have an idea maybe who they are, but they always make sure that there's a shadow and a deal with the same amount of hit points on this track.
I see.
So like, as you start damaging somebody, if they go past the 12 hit points and they're still alive, you're like, okay, so it's not going to be those people, because you don't know when they're going to die.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll all just eventually die because you hit their threshold.
Yeah.
You know? But you eventually will find out who your people are, hopefully. But each character has like a reveal superpower, a one-time use superpower. Like if you're the werewolf, you like flip it over, and he has this like badass like a counterattack deal. Like if he gets attacked, he comes at you again, you know. And there's a D4 dice, and generally you're rolling D4 or D6 depending on what the situation is, and that's how much damage you'll take.
Okay.
Just different odds and ends. It's a very interactive. It sounds like hidden roll game.
It sounds like a more fun Redacted.
You know, I don't play Redacted, but
I mean, you don't need to.
Right. But I played this one. I was looking for a game like this several years ago. Tom Vassell said he loved it, so I picked it up, and then it's just been a hit every group I've played.
Okay.
And it's just really cool. And it came with, if you buy it now, it comes with the expansions. So now there's like every card in the game has a certain number, like I said, that has on that track.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but now it came out with a second version of each character. So there's different abilities.
Oh, I see.
So like you can mix it up and choose. So instead of the werewolf, it can be the something, and it changes your
power.
It gives you more replayability, so that you don't get stale and figure it all out all the time.
Right.
But you pick up items like guns, and you can shoot from a space over. There's dynamite. The dynamite mechanic, it's kind of chuck it, and then if you roll it, it blows everybody up. And
kills everyone.
It's pretty cool. I mean, that's my kind of party game, like more than like the Secret Hitler and stuff like that. I like that because it's a lot more like Bang in a way. If you
Gotcha.
Bang,
No, I haven't.
You're trying to choose somebody to attack, and you're just hoping
it's
not your partner.
Oops.
right, exactly. So
okay, that'll be a game.
It's fun. If we have enough people, sometime we need to try it because it'll play good decent with 4.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so 79 going down the list. My number 79 actually would have been higher a long time ago, but it's kind of dated. I don't really care for the theme as much, but still I really like the game, and that's Relic. Basically, Talisman in space. It's Warhammer Talisman, Warhammer 40k. Sorry.
Yes.
Don't get that.
Ooh!
Yeah, just
actually.
No, Relic. I mean, yeah, there's still the outer, middle, and inner tier of Relic, and then the expansions are okay. I didn't really care for them a whole lot, but what I do like a lot about Relic is the fact that one, it is like Talisman, and how there's no just like middle spot. There's a bunch of objectives that will change how the game is played and what happens when you get to the middle, and stuff like that make it unique and interesting. But also, whenever you're going to a spot, it's not just draw a card and resolve it. It is, but it's like there's different levels. There's red, which is strength, I think yellow, which was cunning, and blue, which is wisdom. Right. And each person has their own track depending on who they are. And the level up system I really like in Relic, how you spend enough trophy points and you go up on this track that gives you points, and that's how you level up. So some characters won't be strong. Like, there's just really no way to do it, but they'll be super smart and super cunning, so you stay away from those type of strength battles. It's also not as cutthroat because you cannot attack each other. You can force people to actually come and help you fight, but they get a bonus if you win. But one of the expansions did bring in the Nemesis, which isn't even, like, you have to have a certain number of players and they play a separate Nemesis. Now you can attack, I think the Nemesis can attack you and vice versa. But this is also on the list mainly because of nostalgia purposes. It was one of the first games Kat and I played together before I even had a gaming table, before I had anything, just sitting on the floor, fucking playing it, and just having a blast. This was when we first started dating, too, so it was just that, oh, I want to do what you like, and then now she's engrossed in it,
right.
And this is my thing. So I still have Relic. It's not good with 2 people. It's very long and just like, can we just quit? Like with 2, but it's a lot of fun with 3 or 4. So that's number 79.
Not bad. I owned it at one point.
Did you play it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just really fiddly.
You think?
There's so many things like that whole board thing.
The level up system?
Yeah, and then the roll and move stuff.
Yeah, the roll and move, that's pretty just
I
archaic.
don't know how many damn times I needed a 1 to get to something that I never could get. Same thing with Talisman.
Yeah.
It's the same reason.
No, I completely agree.
All right, my number 79 is, I don't think you've played it yet.
Probably not.
Takenoko.
No, I haven't. I keep looking at it, and dude, I just have all those 2017 games I need to play.
Takenoko, I think, might have been on one of my lists.
It was the games you didn't expect to like.
Right. It's cutesy with pandas, and you're trying to, it's a set collection virtually, and stuff, because you're trying to fulfill bamboo cards with a certain number of bamboo, and you're trying to also irrigate certain land cards, and there's several different ways of getting points, but the unique thing, I think, is that at the beginning of your turn you have to roll the weather die, and then that is the event that either scares the panda and you can make them go and actually eats some bamboo. And that helps one of your cards, or it may screw somebody else over. You could roll a deal where you get to take multiple actions instead of just taking the 1 or 2 actions. And the Chibi's expansion, I really haven't done. I have the Chibi's expansion, but I haven't played with it yet. But I think it's a really cool game. I mean, you look at the art, you look at when you pull it out of the box and stuff, and it looks really simplistic, but it's not. There's a lot more to that game than you think, just because you have to, you can't, bamboo can't grow. The very middle tile is the pond or whatever, and you may be placing these tiles 4 or 5 hexes away, but you can't grow any bamboo on them until you irrigate from that pond. So you have to get irrigation. You have to get irrigation channels to connect all the way to that before you can actually start growing stuff.
And it's pandas. Like that's
right.
adorable.
So I mean, it's a lot more strategic than what you may think by just looking at the box.
Right. I would agree.
And plus it's cool. The very first time I played it, I played the collector's edition. That was the
huge, giant one.
The panda stands this tall, and the hex tiles are like this big. I mean, it was.
Why don't you own that one? I'd play it if you had that.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine does. That's how I get to play. He still has it.
Gotcha.
But after playing that, I bought this because I wasn't going to spend two bills on a
fair enough
big version.
Right. All right. So 78 is Guilds of London, which I know has been on my other list. I don't think you've played it.
No, I haven't.
This game is very dull to look at and actually kind of complicated to actually play. But it has almost every single element in it, or every mechanic that I like. It has hand management, it has multiple abilities with your cards, and it also has kind of area control. Essentially, you're trying to get the most points to become the guild, or the mayor of London, or whatever, to be the best guild in London. And so it's tile-based, so there's a bunch of different tiles that have unique abilities that you play cards to do certain actions, and then to get your little workers on these tiles to be able to use the abilities, and also I think kind of own that area in London that it then becomes yours. And also there's a separate like plantation. You can send these workers to a plantation, which actually sounds very bad. But you get a shit ton of points for doing that as well. The game, like I said, like cards have multiple abilities, and it's not text-based, it's all symbols. So when you're playing it, everyone has a huge sheet, so they're looking at that, trying to figure out what their cards do. So it can become a very slow game, and a very...
race for the galaxy when you first learn again.
Yeah, exactly. Or even roll. Roll for the galaxy does the same thing. Yeah. Where it could just cause a lot of analysis paralysis if you're playing. But like it's a very, very smart game that it's right up my alley. Didn't really work for Kat or the other person I was playing with, but obviously I really like it, so that's my 78.
All right, my 78 is the first crossover.
Is it really?
Finally, it took this long.
It took 22 games.
Yeah.
It's a Mice and Mystics.
Do you want to guess or do you want me to specify?
Forbidden Desert. No. Okay, no, I've got it.
Epic Spell Wars.
Oh, that was really my second guess.
Epic Spell Wars, for the exact same reasons we talked about earlier, just because it's a fun-ass card game.
It really is.
It's a beer and pretzels game. You don't take it seriously. Just have a blast.
You can die before it gets to your
exactly.
turn. Like, it's just like, especially with a lot of people. Honestly, whenever I create those spells, I never think of who I'm attacking. Right. I'm just like, this is gonna be fun.
I do late game. Like if somebody has one token and I'm like, okay, I gotta.
Right. But like starting, I'm not like I'm gonna target this person. I'm just like, oh, this is how it happened to play out. Super fun, and we already talked about it. So 77 is like no way. I don't even know if you know this game. You ever heard of Ulm?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
I've never
so Ulm is a correct, and you only have bad games on your list, except for Epic Spell Wars. That's the only good one so far. Ulm is a worker placement game. Actually, no, it's not. I'm lying. Apparently, I don't know what it is. It is a Euro-style game set in the German city of Ulm, which I've actually been to in real life, which is why I bought the game. Wow, am I boring you? God. I'm sorry that I like history.
No,
I think you would actually really like this game because essentially all you're doing is drawing tiles out of a bag and placing them in a 3x3 grid that whenever you push them out of the way to fit onto this grid, and so what you push out is the action you're not doing, you're doing what's remaining. So eventually it becomes like blocked up and you clear out all the edges. And so you have multiple actions, but you're limited by how you want to push that tile in. And then you have this, I think you're going down the Donau, I can't remember the river, that allows you to do those areas actions as well as own them to be able to get points if people do those same actions. But you need to move your boat down the river because if you don't, that's negative points. But you don't want to move it too fast because then you're missing out on those actions. Right. So it's a really, really cool game, and I think that's aesthetically pleasing is the fact that the cathedral in Ulm, which I think is or was the largest cathedral in the world, it's actually a 3D model. So it just sits there, and your timer is actually the tower. So you have a token that you place in it, a little holder that by the time the game's over, the tower is completed. You can also have it to where it's on the back side of those tiles are events that just can make the game a little bit more random, and you have to deal with those situations. But I mean, yeah, like I think there is set collection as well. There's cards. Yeah, there is set collection because you can draw cards as well that are either abilities or sets. And if you get like the three pieces of the cathedral, it's like a shit ton of points. That's Ulm. I really, really like it. So 77.
All right, my 77 is another gateway game.
Oh, what?
We're going back on the train again. I struggled with which one to put on this. King of Tokyo is what I ended up putting on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because I've played it, it's more accessible, more easier to get out and just play with people. I personally like New York better.
Okay.
But I don't think it's as good
to bring out.
You know,
right.
So this one is probably the better one to go for, just because, especially if you add the power-up expansion, where you have your powers.
Well, New York has a power-up expansion.
Right, but I mean, but New York has it's not just, okay, you're in Tokyo, you either attack, he attacks everybody else, you attack him, move out, whatever. New York adds a lot, it's more of a gamery version of it.
Gotcha.
So that's ultimately why I picked this one, because, you know, my little nephew, I bought him because he wants to try getting into board games.
Okay.
He's 5th or 6th grader now, and
Okay.
I bought him King of Tokyo and showed him how to play it once, and he plays all the time now.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's a much more accessible game. Almost a staple to any good collection of games.
Right. like Ticket to Ride and all that other stuff. Yeah, it's Yahtzee. That's it. It's Yahtzee with powers, so I stayed away from it because I'm not simple-minded. So I actually can branch out a little bit other than games that, you know, you grew up with in the 40s. So,
The 40s.
so no, I mean, obviously everyone likes King of Tokyo in New York. I haven't played either one because it was that thing of, hey, it's Yahtzee, and I'm like, I don't want to play
You
Yahtzee.
haven't even played either one of them? Man.
Like I said, like it was the same thing like bingo. Hey, it's bingo.
Right.
I don't want to play it.
You would like New York though. Like if since you're an experienced gamer,
Right.
I would bypass this and play New York.
And get
I
New York.
have it, you know, like,
Okay.
and try, because it is more gamery, and it would be one you'd like.
Oh, I'm sure I would. It's just like some of the other games I need to want to
Until you
play.
get a bad roll.
Until I get a bad roll, I'm like, this game is just ripping up the monster. Oh, dang it. Well, let's move on to 76, which is Pandemic Legacy. Pandemic Legacy, I don't know if I whispered it because he's dumb. And he's old.
That's not your number one.
What? No, there's no way. Pandemic Legacy is my number 6. Yeah,
Let me
right.
see if I made my top 135.
Pandemic Legacy is probably actually the best board gaming experience I've had. But like, which is sad. I'm sorry that you only can play games with your family, and so I have friends I can play games with. Well, not anymore because they all hate me now. Pandemic Legacy is like a really, really good campaign style game to just regular Pandemic, which I also really like. That this one just made a very, very good story with with just a bunch of elements, and the game changes for everyone how they play the game, and it can just hose and it just gets worse and worse, and you're just stressed out playing the entire time. I can't wait for season 2, which comes out. I don't know when it comes out, but I think this year though. I hope it's this year. But I mean, yeah, there's really nothing a whole lot to talk about because one, it'd be spoilers if I do talk about it, and it's Pandemic.
I have a gripe though. Something that we talked about earlier.
Okay.
I think you agree with me on this. It is not the number one game of all
No,
time.
absolutely not.
And
no.
what's going to piss me off even more is when season 2 comes out. Then that's going to be number
Probably
2.
be number 2.
One.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have the top 2 games of all time being games
the
that
same
one-time
game
playthrough, and then
they are
they're
one-time
done,
playthroughs.
you know?
You'll hear from very few people that they're like that will reuse the board, and that's how they'll play regular Pandemic. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
Like, really, you can't let go. Like, no, that was the best experience I've ever had. I can't let. It's like, no, it was a great experience. I had a blast from the first game to the last game. It was awesome. But that was it. Like, I burned the game because it was so stressful, and it was a perfect ending. But no, it is by far not number 1 on Board Game Geek. That is stupid. That is so dumb because it's like. It makes 0 sense to me. Like, that ranking really should just be thrown away if that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But I mean, well, that's the thing. Is like the reason why this is so high. I think even to try to justify it as number 1 is it did something so great, and it's based off a mechanic that everyone really likes. That's why Seafall fell flat because it was almost everyone really likes. Anyone who actually knows anything about anything. But no, like that's why Seafall fell flat because it wasn't it wasn't like banking on some already successful IP. That I think now people are going to expect more from season 2, and I personally my prediction is that it's not going to do as well.
Yeah.
But that's my number 76. Way higher on this list because I can never play it again. I have played it again, and I mean it was a Pandemic for me at that point.
Right.
So.
All right, my number 76 probably will be on your list at some point.
Okay.
It's Survive, Escape from Atlantis. This is one that this was one we talked about in the odd rules or the weird rules.
Yep.
It's
that game freaks me out, by the way.
It's great.
I have a fear of the ocean, so I'm just like
yeah. I was late to the game with this. This game's been out for
a while,
a long time. I played the redo with Stronghold Games.
Made another one.
But I was kind of late to the party on this. I played it for the first time this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it was a hit, big time with my family, of course, because it has that take that in it, and it's
so whimsical.
It's just crazy fun, you know.
You're just laughing whenever someone sends a shark to your guy that's swimming in the middle of the ocean.
Right. So it's like you can't take anything too seriously, and even though I've heard some people really get upset at it, they're taking it the wrong. They're playing it the wrong way. Because, but I guess if you don't know what the game is there's all these hexes out, and you're on Atlantis, and it's slowly sinking, and then you're trying to get as many of your color survivors to the safety of land that's in the corners, and then they have points on the bottom of the meeple, and then at the end of the game you reveal how many points you saved. The thing I do house rule wise is we look, or we make it to where we can look at the bottom of our meeples. Technically, by the rules, you're supposed to not look at the bottom of your meeples at all once the game starts.
Right.
We don't do it that way just because.
I do it. I mean,
you know.
I gripe about that rule, and you can easily fix it.
Yeah, you do it. You can do it one way or the other if it gets too easy.
I do it because it's kind of like fun to you have a surprise at the end. Because since you're not taking it seriously, who cares who wins?
Right.
But I mean, have you played they have another one, which I think Escape from Outer Space.
I haven't played that one.
I haven't played that one. I could have sworn I saw somewhere that they were doing a Cthulhu one. Wouldn't surprise me.
I've heard that space one though. It's the same game. It's just you can actually hop in and take fighters out and attack aliens.
Oh, really?
And now it adds that little help, like you can use some of your meeples to protect your other ones.
Yeah. See, I stayed away from that because I was like, I already have Escape from Atlantis. I just want to try the other one.
Yep.
That's a good one. 75 is Survive Escape from Atlantis. That's so funny. Same exact reasons. Like I said, I have a fear of the ocean, so the game is actually like kind of weirdly stressful for me. Just because I start picturing myself in the middle of the ocean. And I have played with the squids.
And I don't have any expansions.
Okay.
I just have the base game. Right
so I think that's the only expansion. Or you can buy. It's a combination of the It's like you can get it for one box.
Right.
The dolphins are fun. They are, but I mean it works the same way that. Like the dolphins never actually protected me because every time someone rolled, they just moved it out of my thing and like protected them, and I'm like, dang it. But the squids are a lot of fun because they pull people out of boats, and they also, if a whale and a squid are in the same spot, they kill each other. So it is a lot of fun. I played it before. A friend of mine that we played it with, it didn't really work for him, and I don't know why. I think he did say at the end, he's like, I don't know why I said that. Because it's so fun. Yeah, it's so fun. But yeah, that's my 75.
All right, my 75 is Imhotep.
Oh, the pyramid one?
Yeah. It's really good. It's, I think you would like it actually. Don't play with 2 players though, because it's funner with at least 3. I played a friend's copy before I bought mine.
Did you say funner?
Yeah.
It's more fun.
I'm a teacher.
You're a teacher, I know.
I don't. Anyway.
Gonna be your excuse. I'm a teacher.
I teach kindergarten.
Fair enough.
But anyway, so you would think it's such a simple looking game. Everybody has their big cubes. There's white, gray, black, brown, I think. So each person will get their color of cubes, and then you need to put cubes, first of all, out of your pile into your pallet or whatever, and then you can place them on, you have to put them on boats, then the boats go over to the land, and then you have to take them off the boats, and then you put them on different sectors. There's one where you're placing your things to help build an obelisk. There's things that you're helping build a pyramid. helping build this, but each section has its own scoring thing. So like, I can't remember, it's the pyramid, I believe, or it's the burial chamber. You have to place them in a certain order,
Okay.
and the more of yours you have touching each other, the points go exponentially.
Okay.
By the end of the game. The obelisk is whoever has the tallest obelisk at the end gets the points for that, and then there's just different stuff.
Right.
There's cards. There's a set collection of cards and stuff too.
Okay.
It's a very simple looking game.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually simple mechanically, but like another simple game like Photosynthesis, I've never racked my brain so hard on a simplistic game as I did Imhotep.
Okay.
Because you have to think like, because you're putting things out on boats and people can hose you with that.
Okay.
And then you don't know where to put, because if you put it here, if you put yours here, you know they have a boat with 4 things that's going to come over and just wreck your whole deal, and they're going to maximize. So whatever move you do can just totally make their day. So you have to think defensively and offensively all at the exact same time.
I think I would like that.
It's very thinky, like incredibly so.
Didn't it win like a bunch of awards?
It was up. It and Kruba came out at the exact same time.
Oh, okay.
And it was up for awards.
Yeah.
It may have won some, but then after I played both, I was like, I'm gonna buy both.
Okay.
And man, my head hurt after playing it. It seriously does. It's for such a simple game. It's a thinker.
Okay.
You know, and it's a good one.
All right. 74 is Star Wars Imperial Assault. Higher on this list because it's also been a while since I've played it. But Descent's not on my list. Shocker. This completely kills Descent for me. I mean, maybe the app would make Descent better, but I feel like this one did everything right. The storytelling was really good in the fact that, 1, it's Star Wars, and 2, the person playing the Empire doesn't reveal all the information. So the people who are coming in and dealing with the missions, they have to figure it out, kind of, and then succeed at it. I really like the fact that the 2 players, it's not they all do something and then the Empire does something and the Empire is super OP. They get to react to whatever the Empire player does, and the campaign version of it, I think does it way better. Like the leveling up system and like how they can go on side missions to try and get allies or more abilities also works out really, really well. And I mean, it's Star Wars, so like you have to love it. And like people don't start out OP. Like the Jedi character doesn't start out with a lightsaber. You have to actually go on her special mission to try and get it. And if she fails, she doesn't get it. So, I don't know, I think it does that type of game a lot better, and I mean, there's so many expansions out for it as well.
That's the thing, like, I will love this game, but I'm not going to buy any of it until the app comes out that they've been talking about.
Oh, they have been talking about that for a while.
Because once the app comes out and turns it to where I can play it solo,
have
to have the two deal.
That's true.
I mean, I'm such a Star Wars nerd anyway, then I will own it. I will own a lot of it.
Right.
But I'm not going to waste my money until I know that app for sure is coming out. Because once it comes out and does what Descent did, then I'm all in.
Exactly. And see, I mean, I don't mind being the one person playing against everyone else that doesn't like Others or Doom or Descent.
Because nobody in my household will play it.
Right.
And then, it's just one of those things.
So there's no point. All right, 74.
My 74 probably will show up on your list later on. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. I do not own this game. I will, eventually. It's another thinker. Nice hidden
different
holes.
Style of
thinking. It's Clue, the card
Clue
game
plus
in a way.
Mysterium.
Yeah, and I mean it is. It's you just get so pissed off at people with this game.
Yeah.
Because there's one murderer and one what do they call it, the investigators or
investigators,
whatever, and so the investigator person, forensic scientist, knows who the murderer is, and the murderer chooses the 2 vessels of death, and then the other guy, the forensic guy cannot make any words. He's just giving clues on these very broad clues
Right.
on these little boards out in the middle of the table, and everybody else has to try to decipher who the killer is. It is a very, very smart game. Like,
It really is.
I mean, because whoever came up with it, and they've created, there's so many cards that come out, and so many things, just by personal, your group can think, if they say, okay, this is a restaurant or something like that. I mean,
oh yeah,
anything can. I mean, anything
They're
can
so vague.
kind of be in a restaurant. You know?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
it makes it where it's. I've never played. I think I've played it 5 or 6 times total, and there's never been like, oh well, he's obviously it. You know, I mean, there's never been an obvious murderer.
Right, because the murderer is also the one chiming in as well, and everyone only gets one guess to try and figure out who it is. So my method of playing was if everyone, if I'm obviously not the murderer, even actually when I am, like you have 3 rounds to try and get it. So most people will wait till that 3rd round. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, if I'm not the murderer, I will. I'll spend my guess the very first time to shut the rest of the team up and be like, okay, you guys all think it's this, well, let's find out. It's not that, so let's move on. And then that ended up working the one time I think I played with you was whenever we figured out it was John.
Right.
Because like everyone was going way off on some other tangent. I'm like, I don't think that's it, but maybe it is. Right. It's not. Let's move on.
Right.
So.
And I've never. Use like the special, like there's
it's one of those things like
the witnesses, I think, and stuff. I've never used those.
Resistance did that too, and it's like you're just making a simple, fun game more complicated.
But anyway, it's a blast.
Right.
I'll definitely own it at some point.
I need to buy it too. 73 is the Arkham Horror living card game. So I actually don't own this. I don't own any of it. I almost bought it, and then we were talking, and he has everything. It's one of those things that like I'm surprised I actually do like it because it is an LCG. But it's also Cthulhu, and it does a living card game so well. Like the story-driven aspect of it, the fact. So what it is it is deck building, more or less. The game comes with, hey, put these. If you want to play this person, here's their deck, which is just what I would do. And over time, you can get more cards, and you can kind of spend experience to get certain cards. But you always have the same. Number of cards in your deck. And that's kind of how you go out about each mission. And each mission kind of has different branches you can go on that will carry over into, I don't know if they carry over into new campaigns or if it's just that one box.
You mean like the story?
Yeah.
I don't know. The second campaign hasn't come out yet.
So
I
don't
see.
know how it's. Well, I meant second big box. Or if there's
second big box, right. Because each campaign starts with the big box.
Right.
So I don't know if it continues on or not yet, because I really haven't read up on it.
Okay.
I know that there's a big box, six story packs, and then this cycle, I don't know if they'll do the next cycle, had 2 like optional scenarios.
I see.
That I got to the Rougarou one and the Carnival.
They just did the Dunwich Legacy one.
Well, that's the big box that came out initially.
What was the first one? Then it was just Arkham Horror LCG, right?
Yeah, there's the core box.
Yeah,
there's Arkham Horror.
Yeah, does my question was, does the core box tie into the Dunwich Legacy one, or is that a separate thing as well?
Well, the core, any of these LCGs, like the core cards, I mean, because you'll use the cards, you're still able to use all the cards that you get from the first cycle into the second cycle.
Okay.
I just don't know how the story hooks in.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it continues on or if it's a whole nother story in another part of the world. You know?
Right.
Like, I don't know a whole lot of that yet.
Okay.
And I haven't really played hardly I've only played the submissions in the core box. I haven't touched the Dunwich and all that, which we'll eventually do.
Yeah, no, because I mean, I really, really liked it, because another cool thing about this game is the fact that, like, your person starts getting affected, and permanent wounds and permanent mental problems that carry on from mission to mission. So if you did a certain action that was traumatizing, you write it down, and then now the next game you do, he starts with like 2 sanity or something like that. So it makes him slowly weaker over time. And I really like how the boards are laid out with those different cards and how you move around. It's just a mystery you're trying to figure out. And the game's also hard.
It's very hard. And
the token thing, which inherently doesn't, like, it could have easily just been done with cards, but the token bag, which affects success rates and stuff like that, it's just a neat differentiation from that method.
I've thought about buying the if they had they have Fantasy Flight makes pre-painted miniatures.
Do they?
Of a lot of the Arkham Horror characters.
Oh yeah.
And I was thinking about if they had all the matching up of characters and those, like buying them, and instead of, because right now you place your the little cardboard standee type thing.
Is it a standee?
Well, it's a card, I guess.
Okay, I was like, oh,
it's a card that's in a little standee thing.
Gotcha.
But
I mean, you can really just
use a mini. You know, that'd be kind of cool to put a rolling mini out on that.
That would be really
the
cool.
room he's on and stuff like that. That's something I've thought about. But
I mean, hell, all these characters are from. You can just take Arkham Horror and just use the cardboard standees and use those.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my number 73.
All right, my number 73. I don't know if you've played this one or not. It's worker placement.
Okay.
Asian themed.
Okay. That didn't help at all.
Edo.
No, I have not played that.
It is a really, really fun game if you like worker placement.
Edo.
It is, I would say it's a more complex version of Lords of Waterdeep.
Okay.
Because you are, obviously, you're placing your workers, you're getting resources to buy stuff, you know, just like anything else. But the cool mechanic with Edo that I think is neat is there is a guard. There's like a little rondelle thing in the middle.
Okay.
And this guard moves around each turn. And if you happen to have a worker that is still placed, because there's a part of the phase where the guard moves.
Right.
And if he happens to be in your deal when he moves, you get like arrested or taken
out
or whatever.
Okay.
So you can't just be like, okay, I'm gonna place here and get this resource. You have to think, oh shit, this guy's gonna come in and
gotcha.
And there's cards and stuff that manipulate. You can make the guard go counterclockwise if you need to and stuff like that. It just adds a little bit more. Think Lords of Waterdeep and Asian themed, but then it adds just a little bit more. You know, and it's I didn't play it with my family when I had it. I really enjoyed the game, but they liked Lords of Waterdeep better.
Boo.
Just
that sounds a little bit more thematic and a little bit more fun.
It is good, but they really haven't. I was hoping for more to it, like an expansion of some sort.
Gotcha.
It just kind of died in the water. I mean, they still make it, and so it's not like it's out of print or anything.
I mean, Lords of Waterdeep made the expansion, but it's like
the expansion made it. I mean, that expansion is almost a necessity to make the game good.
Yeah, but even then, it's like like you're taking a themeless game and you just added more themelessness to it.
Right.
So,
unless you get the D&D pulls.
Yeah, you do that. It does make it a little bit better. Yes, the cubes. All right, 72 is a two-player game that was introduced to me a few months ago called Raptor. And Raptor is a very, very fun asymmetrical game where one person is controlling raptors, a mother raptor and her little baby, and they're actually like those old school like plastic things you got like the dollar store or something.
Yes.
And so you're trying to get the mother raptor and the baby raptors out and escape, whereas the other player is playing a scientist trying to capture the raptors and run experiments on them, and they basically kill them. It's actually really sad whenever they shoot them and put them to sleep, and you're like, why would you do that? And it's so much fun because the board layout changes how you would maneuver around, and you could the raptor can win two ways, I think. Each side can win two ways. The raptors can either escape or they can eat all the scientists and kill them. The scientists can win if they capture, I think, 2 or 3 baby raptors, or they trank the mom to death. And it's card based in the fact that each person has, I think, 8 cards as well, and they play one. And if they play, I think it was like a higher one, they get a better bonus for it. Or if they play the higher one than the other person, they get a bonus. Otherwise, they just get to use the regular ability. So you're trying to think, okay, what have they played, and what can I play that will benefit me in this scenario? It's brilliant. Manigo as well. So slowly but surely, I'm starting to like more and more of their games. But
we'll eventually get to Kemet, right?
Oh, is this my top 100 shittiest game? Yeah, it's, I forgot this is my top 100 shittiest game, so it's right here at the bottom on number 1. Yeah, right. No, Kemet is not on this list, nor will it ever be, unless I play it again and for some reason have a stroke and like it. That's my number 72.
Alright, my number 72 is a brutal deck builder.
So it's bad. Okay.
You played it.
Have I? You say brutal deck builder?
Yeah.
Aeon's End?
Nope. It is Zeena Shift Onslaught.
Oh, okay.
And I think it is a deck builder that you would like because it takes out the bad part that you hate about deck builders. Because when you purchase stuff, it goes straight to your hand.
Right, right. I thought whenever you said brutal, I thought you meant like it's all about deck building.
Oh no, this is like it's a tough ass game.
Yep.
I've played it multiple times since that time that we played it. Still haven't beat it.
Still haven't?
No.
Man, we were doing so good, and then I left, and then you lost.
It was. Well, just because it ramps up.
Does it?
When you get into that third wave of
Gotcha.
stuff, it's just a beast.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting deck builder because it's a tower defense, I guess you would say, in a way.
Kind of.
You're protecting your base by putting out, soldiers to kind of take all the damage.
Yeah, pretty much. You're just like wave after wave,
right.
Just die. Die for the cause.
And so at the beginning of the turn, you get money, and then you purchase these weapons or armor or more soldiers or whatever, and they go into your hand. And then there's a phase where, because there's the bad guys come out face down, and then you have to place out enough soldiers on your deal, and you can actually place soldiers into the other players in their aisle, or you can give them play armor on their players or whatever, because it's pure co-op, so you're helping each other out. Mind you that if you play a card out of your hand, it won't be in your deck anymore. It'll be in their deck and stuff like that. But and then you just reveal the bad guy, crash them together and see who wins. And then it just kind of cascades. And if any of the bad guys get through all your defenses, because you have event cards as well that can slow them down or prevent damage or whatever, then that damage goes to the base, and anytime that base gets down to 0, you die. And it's pretty. I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, but it's such a tense, just brutal game because
I mean, you played it more than I have. Yeah, whenever I played it for I don't know how many rounds we went through, it seemed at that time it was like, oh, this isn't too bad.
Yeah, but no, it ran. I mean, it does that on purpose because because remember we played it with the new. There was a official Cool Mini or Not deal that said you're not supposed to put as many bad guys into that first wave, so you could build up. But even after using that, man, the creatures that come out
later
the
on,
second, third waves, the second, third decks you put in there.
Gotcha.
Freaking.
Yeah, we didn't get that
hard. Well, because I think John took over for you, and then John left, and Randall took over for John.
Oh.
We were just dead. There wasn't anything. I mean, I think we got, that was the closest I've ever come, was that game.
Okay.
And we were 2 turns away from
winning. Oh man, that sucks. That's even worse.
But yeah, it's just brutal. But it's a fun game because it's pure co-op. It's kind of like the best way to do Starship Troopers deck building game. That's pretty much how it's described out there online. It's the hive or the bugs are coming in, and you're just trying to hope you have enough.
Didn't they make a new Starship Troopers movie? I'm pretty sure they did. It was like Starship Troopers 5 or something. It was just complete gutter shit. Anyway.
The first one was good.
But then after that, they're all bad. Yeah. All right, and finally, 71 for this segment is Star Wars Rebellion. Very high up on this list.
I thought it was going to be lower.
You would think. I really need to buy the expansion.
Yeah.
I've heard that changes it quite a bit. It makes it better. The only reason it's so high on this list is because it is stale after a few playthroughs, in my opinion. I really, really do. I mean, you're going to hear this from everyone. It is Star Wars in a box. Not necessarily like from, the movies. Oh, hey, might as well watch the movies. No, it's kind of like a what-if scenario, almost like War of the Ring a little bit. Hey, what if Han Solo actually did capture Obi-Wan or whatever? How would that play out?
What if they blew up Kashyyyk instead of...
What if they blew up? Yep, exactly. and it's and stuff like that, which is a lot of fun. What if the base wasn't on Hoth? And The thing is it is really cool with the Empire playing a completely separate game of just trying to hunt down, and they will always have more troops forever. And hunt down and find the rebel base, and the rebels are trying to meet objectives up until so they try and shorten the length of the game. And so I really do like that. The combat's very clunky, but it does what it needs to do, because that's not really the game. You're trying to fulfill these plots with your people to benefit you in your objective. So it does a really good job. The new expansion adds not Force Awakens, Rogue One.
Yes.
The Rogue One stuff.
Age of Empires, is that the name of the expansion?
That's it. Yep. And so it adds them, and adds. I think what it needed really was just more objective, because there was a time in that game, whenever whenever they get Obi-Wan, they get an objective point if they kill him off, and so you're never not gonna do that. So it became one of those things where it's like, you're going to do this every single time. I know if you're sending Darth Vader on this mission, you're going to try and capture someone, and that gets boring for me. So all I wanted was more objectives, more plots, more missions, all that stuff, and I think the expansion added that. I think the expansion also fixed combat, if I'm not mistaken. So that's why it's higher on my list, but it's still a lot of fun. Hopefully, if the expansion fixes it, it'll probably be higher on the list.
Yeah.
If it doesn't, I can actually see this slowly creeping on its way out. But yeah, that's my 71.
All right, my number 71 is the game that was shown to me about 2 months ago, maybe a little bit more. It's Dice Forge.
Oh, okay.
It is the
Not
fantasy game that you can change the faces of your die. Like, you're going to place your adventurer on a certain place. You get to take the action, but at the beginning of your turn, you roll your dice and gain the gold or the shards or whatever you get. And then there's the part where you spend your gold or shards to get new faces of the dice or whatever. So you're upgrading your dice. Maybe may have a couple of sides that have 1 gold. If you get enough gold, you can replace one of the 1 golds with a 2 gold or something. You're constantly through the turns just pumping up your dice and making them more efficient and more
in any way that you want.
Right. Yeah. If you want to go more gold heavy, if you want to go more moonstone
heavy. It's a dice game that you can't get hosed by your dice.
Right. I mean, yeah.
I mean, you can.
I mean, and it has a lot of good choices though, because you're sitting there. Okay, do I want to just ramp up this 1 dice and make this just a kick-ass dice? Or do you want to spread the love? Because there's only so many rounds in the game. You know, you're not going to be able to change every face of every dice before the game's over. So you need to make that decision. And it's just...
Do you think this game gets stale? That's pretty much the only complaint I've heard. After
it hasn't yet.
Okay.
There's... I'm trying to remember how many decks you start out with, and I think there's like 2 or 3 that you don't use that kind of filters around.
Okay.
It's going to have to have expansions though, which would be easy to do expansions.
That's true.
Just come out with new decks that you put around the deal.
Yeah.
They're never going to really be able to change the faces.
I don't think it would need to.
Deal, because I mean that's
right.
kind of
All you need to do is come up with decks or cards that have unique abilities.
But I mean the game's still pretty new, so it wouldn't surprise. And with it being Asmodee, I mean they like to pump out expansions. I could see them next Gen Con having an expansion for it or something. You know, just new cards is all it needs every time. You know, and I just really enjoy it. It's something that, especially with like the girls, they love being able to make their own dice, you know.
Yeah, no, that is really cool, because other games have done that, they just haven't done it as well.
The biggest pain in the ass is when the game's over and you have to
pop them all out,
put all the originals back in.
Uses the inlay as the board.
The whole box insert is genius. I mean, like the box insert is actually part of the game. It holds everything and stuff. So it was one that kind of shocked me, you know.
Right.
I'd heard interesting things about it, and after I played it, it was like, I love dice games anyway. So
right.
All works.
All right, everyone. That is 80 to 71. Yep. God, I don't know why that's so hard for me. I hope you're enjoying. Let us know what you think of the games that we mentioned on this segment. Click the eye to go to 70 to 61. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you want to support us, you can go ahead and click that link to go to my Patreon account. If you have any suggestions, you can go ahead and click the link in the show notes below to go to my Board Game Geek list. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.